Okay, hi. So we're on chapter 17, Insight into a Pounding, and this is the Liberation of Gabriel King. I'm on page 105. So we've reached over the page 100. I always think it takes me 100 pages to get into a book. After dinner, when we were doing the dishes, Frida wanted to know if I was still scared of Terrence. She said it was important because being scared of people was the worst kind of scared. And if I was going to get to the 5th grade, we had better get this one right. I thought it over extra hard. Then I told Frida I might still be the teeniest bit afraid. Well, how come? She asked. I shrugged. I don't know. He seems pretty grumpy all the time, and I don't think he likes me any. Plus, he beats on you a lot. How come you're not scared of him? Frida gave me a funny look. Scared of Terrence, she asked. He's not scary. He just beats me up because I like it. And he's grumpy all the time because he doesn't want to go to college. But most of the time he's okay. I wondered if that was true, but Frida put down the last plate and studied me hard. We've got to fix this, she said. You need yourself some insight. I groaned. If insight meant looking in at something, I was pretty sure I could do without it. Didn't seem like I ought to get any closer to Terrence than I already was, but Frida lashed onto my sleeve and pulled me down the hall. When we got to Terrence's room, she pushed open the door and went straight in without knocking. What are you doing? Terrence growled like we barged in on something top secret. I turned around and started to back out, but Frida stayed put. She put her grip on my sleeve, so I was like one of those cartoon characters running in place. Gabe's afraid of you, she said, just like that. I turned about 5 shades of red, and I could feel all the color creeping from my neck to the very tips of my ears. Terrence laughed. Good, he said. That's when Frida started to cry, only it wasn't real crying. Sorry. It was fake crying. Make sure my sound is off. It was fake crying. I could tell, but Terrence didn't seem to know the difference. He was sitting at his desk reading the book called What Should I Do With My Life? First he stopped reading, then he glanced at me. I would have bolted if it hadn't been for Frida's tight grip. Quit that, he said to Frida, but he didn't say it mean. She sniffled. I won't, she said. Gabe is my best friend, and you're mean to him. He thinks you hate him. She threw herself on Terrence's bed and muffled her face in his pillow. Terrence just sighed and picked Frida up by the ankle so she was hanging upside down. Come on, Frida, he said. I don't hate Gabe. He's a twerp, is all. Quit it. Terrence was trying to sound tough, like he usually does, but you could tell his heart wasn't in it. His voice was soft instead of rough. He swung Frida up in the air and dumped her on the bed. Frida stopped crying. Tell Gabe you like him. Terrence made a face, but Frida looked at him with extra big eyes and stuck out one lip. Terrence glared at her, then at me. You're okay, twerp, he said. Tell him he can be a peace warrior like us. Terrence snorted. He can try, he said, but he didn't believe it. But he didn't say it mean. Tell him he can sit on your bed, Frida said. Then she giggled, which gave everything away. I could tell Terrence was catching on. He looked at Frida, then back at me, and for a second I thought he was going to pound me for sure. He lunged right towards me, just like he lunged towards his punching bag, but then he picked me up, flipped me over, and swung me on the bed, just like he swung Frida. Fine, he said. Go ahead, sit on my bed if you want, only this time he was almost laughing. All the color drained from my face and then fell back again. I landed on the bed with a bounce. Maybe Frida was right. It was kind of fun getting tossed around like that. Frida hopped off, but Terrence grabbed her around the waist and flung her again. Come on, Frida, he said. You wanted to sit on my bed. Go ahead, put your stinky, dirty feet all over it. Frida was giggling, something fierce now, and I slid off the bed purely on accident. Terrence grabbed me like I weighed nothing and threw me in a heap on his pillow. You gotta stay there now. Frida says you want to sit on my bed, so you better sit on my bed. Frida hopped off again and flung her back, and then we both hopped off and caught us one in each arm and flung us both. I'm twerp lifting, he said. How much do you weigh, twerp? 80 pounds? I bet I could bench press 80 pounds. Terrence picked me up and pretended like he was lifting something real heavy. Frida screamed and knocked him in the stomach with a pillow. Terrence said, oof, and then he started toppling while he was still holding me in the air, and I screamed because I thought he was going to drop me for real, only he didn't, and the next thing you know, me and Frida were pounding him with pillows. That's when Miss Wilson came by the door. She said, shaking her head, but she was smiling too, like everything might turn out okay after all. That was a cute chapter. Okay, that's it.